Mr. Scarecrow, Iron Man, Monsieur Hercule Poirot, and the Disney version of Tarzan. What the heck does these four men have in common? Is this great legendary film called Oppenheimer. And also the very first time that Mr. Scarecrow is going to play a lead role in a Christopher Nolan film. And that is one true fun fact that nobody will never forget in movie history. And yes, ladies and dudes, it's another homework film. That's for sure. Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop 1987. This is my review for today. And today we're finally back with another movie review, ladies and dudes. I'm sure everybody wants me to do this movie review so darn badly. And I did watch this movie twice. One from the afternoon and the other from the evening, so I could just study this movie a bit more and try to get to know what the storyline is all about. And yes, ladies and dudes, it is very darn true. This movie is truly based by a true story. A story about a guy who creates that bomb thingy-majig, something that will take care of World War II stuff. Well, if you know what I mean. So for my next movie review is Oppenheimer. And I'm sorry that this movie did not make it to the #1 spot because it got beaten by Barbie. Does anybody remember that weird movie? Yeah. Well, it's all about history, if you know what I mean. So, without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my next movie review of Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, that featured Mr. Scarecrow himself, Cillian Murphy. And to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I did not know that he was Irish. I did not know that at all. Seriously. So, all I could say about the main plot of the story is, it's a story about a dude named Oppenheimer. He's a scientist, he's a professor, he wants to do some research here and there, and also we get to know about his previous life, of his storyline, you know, that he was a student at science class. He met his favorite hero of all time, who was a professor as well, if I remember right. It was played by Monsieur Hercule Poirot. He works with one military dude who, well, let's just say he has an idea in mind about creating a bomb that will take care of this World War II stuff. He gets involved with a relationship, the wrong relationship at the wrong time that he met. You know, he just fell in love with a woman who's a whore. And then he married a lady named Kitty, and they lived together unhappily or something like that. And so on and so forth. Yeah, this storyline was way too hard to explain, but yes, it is true. It is truly based by a true story. And that's all I could say about the main plot of the story. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? I will say it's a very, very darn enjoyable film. I will say Oppenheimer does deserve to win for Best Picture. It does prove it. Because of the storyline, the cinematography, the casting, the score, and everything else. It's a very darn good movie to watch. But there was one little flaw I found with this movie that featured an oh heck no moment. I don't know why Christopher Nolan added oh heck no moment in that scene in the movie. Something that's not really my cup of tea at all. My tea went superly cold. Well, that's for sure. But anyway, it's a very darn enjoyable movie to watch. It had a good storyline, likable characters, great casting, no special effects at all, so he doesn't want any special effects in this movie. It had a good epic score. But I will say the best part I love about this movie is interesting fun facts you should know about this movie. Something that will blow you away big time. So anyway, let's head on to my strongest points and the weakest points of Oppenheimer. I want to go ahead and do my strongest points right now because this is the best part I love about this movie. And to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, it deserves to be my homework film. And I did study this movie very carefully, but also there's a lot of fun facts to be found about our casting as well. That's for sure. I will say the strongest point for this movie is interesting fun facts to be found. And there's a lot of them to choose from. Like, here's an interesting fun fact you should know about this movie. That both Kenneth Branagh and Cillian Murphy, they did work together before, but sadly their characters had never met each other in another Christopher Nolan film, and that was Dunkirk. In the Dunkirk film, you see Kenneth Branagh became that a British captain dude or the French captain dude, the guy who's worried about his soldiers very much, and he cares about their safety. While Cillian Murphy's character, he just played a cowardly soldier who wants to run away and he doesn't want to get involved with war no more. And I really like Dunkirk. Dunkirk is a very underrated movie, and I wish they should talk about that film more, since it is also based by a true story. Even all the characters were fictional, but the only thing that's kind of real is the boats. Just a couple of them here and there. And yes, ladies and dudes, it is very darn true that Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy, they were really good partners and team members of the group. Well, you know, they worked together in so many films here and there. Not just this film and Dunkirk, they also worked together in the Dark Knight saga. And I wish I could remember that name of the film that featured Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, if you know which movie I'm talking about, you'll know. And also, this is the very first time that Christopher Nolan is going to work with a couple actors and actresses here and there who did get involved with Marvel films or DC films. You'll know which actors and actresses I was going to talk about. You know, like Matt Damon or Florence Pugh and Cillian Murphy and Mr. Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Here's another interesting fun fact you should know about this film is, did you know that Christopher Nolan had truly done his main homework? He did one of the most important main homeworks in film history, where he has to study about Oppenheimer's storyline that was based by a true story. Yeah, that's something you did not see coming. You see, the greatest director of all time had really done his homework. Tried to study this guy very carefully that was based by real history. Yeah, you did not see that coming, right, ladies and dudes? And another interesting fun fact you should know about this film is, you remember Matt Damon and Emily Blunt? They did work together before in a previous film, but I forgot what the movie was called. But all I know is they were playing this couple who were being chased by those weirdo dudes in suits. Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie anyway, but yeah, they did work together before in a previous film. That's for sure. There's a lot of great, interesting, fun facts to be found in this movie, but that's all the fun facts that I can find about this amazing film. So I will say for the strongest point for this movie is so many fun facts you should know about Oppenheimer. That's for sure. I will go with one main weak point in the movie, and I have no idea why Christopher Nolan had decided to put this one scene in the movie. And that is the oh heck no moment. I was like, no. Please, Christopher Nolan, please don't add this scene in the movie. Okay, that scene right there makes me sick and throw up. Okay, what really happened in that scene in the movie is, you know, where Oppenheimer has to explain about that part of his storyline where he still has that relationship with that whore lady. And there was a oh heck no scene where it's kind of like a fantasy thing or whatever. It's something about seeing Oppenheimer naked, and there was a lady who just showed up out of nowhere and started humping him, and the wife wasn't that comfortable to see it. I think that was too darn sick for my taste. I will say that was my biggest, weakest point in the movie. Is one oh heck no moment that made me sick and throw up. I just wish they just edited it off. You know, cut that scene off, and maybe you can add it as a deleted scene, so we cannot mention it again. Well, if you guys get the picture. Alright, ladies and dudes, it is time to go on to the characters. I'll just go with two characters that stand out to me in this movie. One character I want to talk about is the guy that was played by Monsieur Hercule Poirot, a.k.a. Kenneth Branagh. I'm kind of surprised that Kenneth Branagh had one extra part in the movie. I'm surprised that they decided to add him in there. You know, in the Christmas party scene. I just thought that he might show up like in 2-3 scenes at the beginning part of the movie, but I did not know they were going to add him again on Christmas. Maybe that's the reason why Hercule Poirot had retired. Maybe he visited Mr. Oppenheimer for Christmas time or something like that. Yeah, I really like Kenneth Branagh's performance, the role in the character that he played for, you know, in a very small scene in the movie. He looks like a pretty interesting character, a whole lot of fun to watch. Yeah. Well, since we don't know much about his storyline, maybe he's some type of professor dude or something. I don't know what type of character he really is. But he's so much fun to watch, and it does suck that he had a very small role in the movie. That's for sure. But he's a very interesting character. I just wish I got to know a little bit more about this guy. Hard for me to say. And then we got the main character, Mr. Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy, a.k.a. Mr. Scarecrow. I will say he did a fantastic job playing a lead role in his very first debut in a Christopher Nolan film. I will say he had a good storyline for the most part. He has a great personality, great attitude. He's a not too bad of a character. He's just misunderstood. He has a tragic life, and he wants to know what's right or wrong, or what type of path he wants to follow, and let's just say he's just a misguided person. You know, a tragic human being who had a very tragic life. It's really hard for me to say about this really cool character, but I will appreciate what Cillian Murphy had done to play this wonderful role and the performance and the character, and he did work hard on his first leading role. That's for sure. So I will say for my final thoughts of the film, I will say Oppenheimer is a good movie to watch. And one of the films I vow that I will rewatch again. It had a good storyline for the most part. It has likable characters. Well, except for one who's a whore. And it has great sceneries and highlight moments of the film. It had a really good score. A very good epic score indeed. And, I will say the best part I love about this movie are the fun facts to be found in this movie. Something that will blow you away big time. So I will give this movie a 9 out of 10. And yes, it is based by a true story. That's for sure. And that's all I have for now. And I'll be back for another movie review coming really soon in the main future. So I'll see you all later, and sayonara.